Hello again, this is video number 2 and featuring the XP Deus 2 running over the testbed. The last video of course featured the Manticore, and it'd be interesting to see how the two compare. I've not run the Deus 2 over the testbed yet, so I don't know what the results are going to be or how it's going to compare to the Manticore, but I think it's probably going to be a fairly close run thing. Seems to be loads of videos on YouTube at the moment testing Deus 2 against the Manticore. Believe it or not, I've not actually watched any of those videos, so I don't know which way it's swinging. It all depends, of course, on the settings being used and what the person doing the test perceives to be the actual best settings for that detector. During the test, I'll be using what I think are the best settings, but I'm sure there's people out there that will disagree. It can be difficult setting up a Deus 2. You're going to be building your own settings on top of one of the preset programs. But which preset program do you use as a base? I was using General, thinking that was probably going to be the best. I did a few tests with it, it seemed fine, and over the last few days I've realised it wasn't that great and was not picking up some of the lower conductive signals. So I've now changed over to sensitive, which seems to be a much better base to actually continue with. So I've put my own settings on top of that, and that's what I'll be using from now on. So before you set up your Deus 2, it's worth going through all the preset programs first and seeing what they all do. So they've all got filters on them, so you can't change the filters. You can only choose another program that's going to do what you want it to do and put your settings on top of that. If you're using the Deus 2 with just the standard preset programs, then you're probably going to be missing quite a bit, so they do need tweaking slightly. Anyway, these are the settings I use now, so off we go. It's set up using the backdrop of a program 2, which is sensitivity, and made the following adjustments. It's working on software 1.1, by the way, in case you're interested. Sensitivity, that's on 0 due to the fact I'm using it in my house at the moment and it would go absolutely bananas. I normally use it on about 96, 97, 98. It depends what I can get away with, really. So that's just depends on the site. Frequency max, that's on 24 kilohertz. That's because it's a bit noisy on 40 on most of the sites I go on, but there's a few sites I have actually got it on 40 kilohertz because they're very, very clean sites and it'll just stand it on there, really. Ion value on 0. Reactivity on 1. That's because I need depth where I go. The depth gets seriously compromised when you go over 2.5, I've found. So hence my reason for using 1. Audio response 7. That just allows me to hear the deeper signals loud and clear. Discrimination on 6.4, minus 6.4 that is. That's on full tones. I use offset full tones on 5. That's because I've never really played with that. I will do probably in the future. Bottle cap reject on 0, notch off, silencer on 0. Right, onto the audio side. Audio out 9, audio filters left at 0. Graphic equalizer, I have played about with that, but you do tend to end up confusing yourself and not knowing which the best sounds are that are coming out, so I just leave as is. Audio type is I square. I just like that, those tones really. I do use the other two as well, the PWM and the square, but it tends to be mainly I square, but that's just personal choice again. So that's how I use the audio. Right, we're going to start with the very low conductive signals. This is a 20-inch gold chain, 1 inch deep, and it's rolled into a ball. getting it quite happily, but whether you'd actually dig it in a field full of coke or not is another thing. Gold chain 5 inches long, stretched out in a line. Quite happily gets that, but again it's very close to sort of coke type signal. Silver earring, 1 inch deep. This is a very fine silver earring. I'd definitely be digging that on some of my sites, but in normal detecting conditions I wouldn't. A low conductive cut quarter at 4 inches. Again, getting it quite happily. This is where you need to be thinking about audio really. If you're just looking at numbers you wouldn't be digging an awful lot. This test bed is a bit extreme, as I said before, so you're not going to get many clear two-way signals on here. They're always going to be the signal's always going to be a bit strained and extreme, because you're sort of pushing the detectors to the limits really. Small pewter button at 7 inches. Small pewter button at 8 inches. They're not the greatest signals in the world, but at least they're signals. Piece of galena at 6 inches. That again is in the coke range. Air alpha pallet, 4 inches. You can tell there's something non-ferrous down there, but most of the time you probably wouldn't be digging that. Air rifle pellet, 5 inches. Not really a great target. Right, small thin copper ring at 8 inches. A large thin copper ring at 10 inches. This is just a piece of coke, just to remind you what a piece of coke sounds like. Right. Iron cord, 2 pence. Bit of a mixed signal there because of the iron content and the copper coating. But if you got used to that sort of mixed signal, then you wouldn't have any problem on the beach picking up a modern currency. This is a crown bottle top. So that's an obvious, nice, clear signal. This is an high and low conductive cutting, buried at 8 inches deep, and they're 1 inch apart. See if Deus can separate them. I'm not really getting the sense that there's 2 different coins down there with different conductivity levels. Same again, only these 3 inches deep and 1 inch apart. That's separating those. Right, 20 pence. And a ring pull to see if a detector can actually tell the difference. That's the ring pull. That's the 20 pence. Identical. Right, we've got high conductive coin, low conductive coin, and the line on the top of them in between is a rusty staple. It's doing it, I'm not too convinced. Right, next up are low conductive coins. We start with a 5p at 6 inches. This is where you get your nice two-way obvious banging signals. A bit more shallow coins. As we get to up the scale, then it will become a bit more strained, the signal. 5p at 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches, 12 inches. Not giving me much to go on there, really. Right, next up is a 5p 6 inches on edge. That's going across the coin on edge, and this is going down the length of it. Not much in that, really. 7 inches on edge. So it doesn't really like that too much. A bit of a weird signal. That's across the coin. Now this is on the lengthways. Right, we've got cut quarter at 4 inches. Cut quarter at 5 inches. 6 inches. And 7 inches. No, I wouldn't be digging that one. Right, on to high conductive coins. It's a Georgian halfpenny at 9 inches. Lovely signal. Georgian halfpenny at 10 inches. Georgian halfpenny 11 inches. $12 inches. 13 inches. I think we've run out of steam there. Right, I've got a Georgian halfpenny on edge at 7 inches. Across the coin and down the length of it. On edge at 8 inches. Across the coin and going down the length of it. I don't think I'll be digging that particularly. Cartwheel penny on edge at 8 inches. Across, down the length. Seems to be getting it to one side. Cartwheel penny on edge at 9 inches. Across the coin, down the length. Cartwheel penny 11 inches. Cartwheel penny 12 inches. Cartwheel penny 13 inches. And cartwheel penny 14. Just about getting that. All these cartwheel pennies are actually nice and flat in the ground. Right, onto the silver coin. This is Ahmed threepenny bit, 1563 at 8 inches. Get that easy enough. Silver threepenny bit, 1870 at 8 inches. Sixpence, 9 inches. Nice silver one. Shilling, 1845 at 10 inches. Seems to be getting that to one side of the target for some unknown reason. Flowing, silver one at 1923 at 11 inches. Nice signal on that. Silver half crown at 14 inches. Not too convincing, but I can tell something on first down there. 1965 cupel nickel crown at 13 inches. Gets that. Onto artifacts. Right, small bottle at 10 inches. Teaspoon at 13 inches. So you wouldn't be too encouraged by the numbers if you were just going in that direction, but audio wise it's a good signal. Thimble, 12 inches. Move around it a bit, we got it from that angle. Large lead weight at 14 inches. Again, gets it better from one angle. A fibula at 7 inches. A large musket ball at 10 inches. And a horse harness bottle at 15 inches. Great signal on that. Right, the iron type signals and oars. Horseshoe at 6 inches. Nothing there to indicate that it's iron, so I should be digging that one up. So, no mark there. Large iron bottle at 6 inches. Fantastic signal on that one. A 20 pence, 8 inches deep, with 3 2-inch nails directly on top of it. Not a problem. Next one, 20 pence, 8 inches deep, with 3 2-inch nails 4 inches deep. And this is the one that nothing gets. It's 20 pence, 8 inches deep, with 3 2-inch nails 1 inch deep, directly on top. Coming through as a nice iron signal there. It's just getting my nail and not seeing the 20 pence, like most detectors. Right, this is a strip of iron with 2 copper rivets sticking out of it. Getting the iron from there. No, not giving me any encouragement to dig that at all whatsoever. A large nail, 6 inches deep, with 20 pence on top of it. Yeah, I've got one. Half penny, 8 inches deep, with coke on the surface above it. There's a coke coming in. Just move slightly ahead of the coke, and like a manticore, the signal travels diagonally and gets the halfpenny. Rusty penknife, 6 inches deep. It's an easy one. Horseshoe at 2 inches deep with a halfpenny, the Georgian 8 matters, at 6 inches deep directly below it. Yeah, just getting my horseshoe. Now the horseshoe is 6 inches deep and the halfpenny is 2 inches deep directly above it. Lovely, nice, clear, non-ferrous signal there. Doesn't see the horseshoe. Right, onto the hoards. 6 halfpennies stacked on top of each other, 11 inches deep. Nice signal there. So we've got 100 mixed coins here, 20 inches deep in a pot. Yeah, we did that. Now this is a test that is difficult for any detector. 6 halfpennies in a row, 2 inches deep on edge. Yeah, like other detectors I've tested, well, the Manticore anyway, sees that as iron. If you come at it from the other angle, gets it quite happily. No idea how that works. Well, onto the results. The low conductive coins. The Deus really just failed on the 12-inch deep 5 pence. Otherwise it's pretty well neck and neck. The high conductive coins, again just down to one failure on the XP Deus side, which is halfpenny, 9 inches on edge sideways, but on a different day I might actually dig that, who knows, so it's very, very close. Iron tests, both did virtually the same on that one. It was just, the Deus just failed on the strip of iron knife, whatever it is, with 2 copper rivets sticking out of it. I couldn't separate the rivets from the actual knife blade. But that's probably down to tones. The Deus is not as good separation tone wise as the Minelab is. Minelabs have always been superior, and more superior than most detectors separation in terms of tones. They're just nice and crisp, sharp, and there's a definite separation in there. Whereas other detectors tend to get the tones all muddled into one sometimes, especially on the deeper items. This wasn't supposed to be a direct comparison test between the Deus 2 and the Manticore, but by natural means I suppose it's going to turn out that way, mainly because I use them both, and it's just interesting to me what the comparisons are, but up to now there's not an awful lot in it. Where are we next? Oh, random artifacts. We both get all of those without any problem. Again, the tones are a bit more sort of scatty on the Deus as you get deeper, as they are with most detectors. Very low conductive. Not an awful lot in that, except that I was quite surprised to find out the Deus is actually better on those, and the gold chains and earring particularly came in as better signals, which surprised me. But I'm using the Deus on a sensitive program, I either say, and also a Manticore is on a general setting. These have been chosen because they give the best all-round performance. I mean, I could put the Minelab onto a low conductive program, but by doing that, it's very, very oddball and seems to pick out the sort of mid-range things as opposed to the very low conductive things. It sees the gold chain, earring, and similar items as coke, so it just rejects them. I'm sure with a few tonal sort of tweaks I could get that to accept it quite happily, but then it would be giving me a really nice signal for coke as well, so with no fantastic advantage there, I don't think. Onto the odd type signals. 6 halfpennies on edge, 2 inches deep, that's the most interesting one. I'm sure one of these days I'm going to come across a detector or actually get it across the actual length of the coins instead of across the edge. But the two I've tested so far have failed on that one. Separation and ID. Again, the tones probably let the Deus down, and the Minelab is far superior on the separation at depth particularly. I suppose with a bit of tweaking on the tones on the Deus, something I probably need to get into, then I could perhaps get them a little bit closer on that, but to me the Minelab is better on that sort of thing. Other test results, etc., comparison tests, can be seen on the website. And I'll thank you very much for watching, and bye for now. See you soon.